beginner class, so go ahead and step to the top of your mat. Bring your toe mounds together and leave your heels just slightly separated. Lift the chest and have a nice neutral pelvis. So we're not arching the back, we're not tucking the tailbone, just neutral. Then squeeze your quadriceps so it lifts the kneecaps, lifting the chest, palms forward. Begin to breathe in and out through your nose. So we want to create that breath with sound, like you're fogging up a mirror. I like to place the tongue to the roof of my mouth. This kind of helps restrict the esophagus so that you can create that sound. This is called Ujjayi breath, breathing with sound. This is sometimes referred to as victorious breathing or ocean breath. And it's going to help warm you from the inside out. It's going to help you keep a more meditative practice today. On your next inhale, I want you to reach the arms up, palms touch, eye gaze up at the thumbs. And then we're going to exhale into a nice forward bend. So if the hamstrings are tight, just bend the knees. And this is my first practice today, so I am super tight. So I'm going to bend the knees here, shake out the head. And just let the chest rest onto the thigh bones. Then I want you to inhale halfway. So we're going to straighten the arms here, knees can be bent. If you prefer, you can come up to the shins here. And then as we exhale, we're going to step back into what's called Chaturanga Dandasana. So we're going to step back, drop down to the knees for this first one. Hug the elbows in close to the body and lower yourself down to the ground. Then once you get there, we're going to roll the shoulders down and back, lifting the chest, eye gaze forward. Feet are on the ground, belly is lifted. Take a nice inhale, tuck the toes, and we're going to push our way up into a downward facing dog. So in downward dog, you want to check your alignment by gliding forward into a plank pose, and your shoulders should end up right over your wrists. One of the main things that I hear from people new to yoga is that they don't know proper alignment, and it's hard to see themselves when you're practicing unless you have a big mirror. So you can either practice by a mirror, or you can take your iPhone or another camera and record yourself and check it out later. But a good way, if you don't have those two options available to you, is just glide forward. Find out if your shoulders are right over your wrists. And if they are, and you didn't have to move your feet, then you're in proper alignment. Once you're here in downward dog, if it's hard to get the heels down like mine, go ahead and just bend the knees. We're looking for a flat back. We don't want rounding in the spine. Okay, so if you feel like you're rounding, you feel that upper back kind of puffing up, what we want to do is press the heart towards the feet, draw the ribs in, so really pull in those ribs, and then bend the knees. Straighten the arms, externally rotate through the shoulders, so that means the eyes of your elbows go forward, so it's like a wrap of the bicep and the tricep. And just remember, even if you were here, it's not terrible, all right? It's not the end of the world. It's just could be a little bit better for your body by bending the knees, flattening out the back, and really straightening those arms. Then I want you to gaze forward and step your right leg in. Feel free to help yourself out if you need to. Step it in. Then the other one. Keep the knees bent if the hamstrings are tight. Gaze forward, try to flatten the back. So I like to think about a dinner plate on my back, nice and flat. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Neutral pelvis. Draw the thigh bones up, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. We're gonna repeat that again. So I want you to inhale, sweep the arms up. Gazing at the thumbs. Exhale, come into a forward fold, bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, knees can be soft, or we can be up here on the shins. Exhale, step back to Chaturanga. So we're going to step it back, drop down to the knees, or if you feel strong, you can come to the toes. Hug the elbows in, so let them hug the body. Lowering down, baby cobra, release the feet, lift the chest, gaze forward. If you feel like you could do upward dog, you're going to press your feet into the ground and push the ground away. thigh bones come off the ground. So your knees are off the ground, you're pushing the ground away, you're gazing forward, or you can gaze upward. Try not to let the feet roll out like this. So we want the heels straight up, we want to lift through those quadriceps. Now pull yourself in, flip those toes over, flip, flip, and now we're in downward dog. If we're not sure about alignment, we're gonna come forward, check it out, go back to downward dog. You can pedal it out here, moving the heart towards the feet, drawing the ribs in, flattening the back, straightening the arms, externally rotating the shoulders so the biceps, triceps wrapping around. Eye gaze can be at your knees, your feet, or if maybe you feel comfortable, you can gaze up towards your navel. And just take a few moments and breathe. Then we're gonna look forward to the hands, step it in. Again, help yourself out if you need to. Other leg in, flatten the back, dinner plate on the back. Eye gaze forward, shoulders away from ears. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands to your heart. We're gonna step the left leg back, Virabhadrasana A or Warrior One. So I want you to look at your front heel and see if it is in alignment with your back heel, okay? Those back toes are just slightly turned out, just a little bit, because if you turn it out too much, the hip opens. So we want to bring the hip to the front of the mat, so facing the front of the mat. Sink down in that front leg, all right? And then just get your footing. So feel strong in the legs before you continue. I want you to think about pulling those ribs in, straightening that back leg. And maybe this is enough for you. Maybe you feel it in the legs. This is really intense. You're starting to breathe heavy. Just stay right here. If you can, we're gonna reach the arms up. You can gaze forward, sinking down, drawing in those ribs. And if you feel like you can, we're gonna gaze up, bring the hands together, and gaze at the thumbs, squeezing the elbows, pressing the shoulders up. One more breath. And then inhale, pick up your back heel, place the hands right by that foot, step back, either drop to your knees or stay on your toes, chaturanga, exhale. And then inhale, either baby cobra, or if you can, the full up dog. Rolling over your toes, exhale, flip those feet, come back to downward dog, bend the knees, shake it out, step it in, flatten the back, exhale, fold, sweep the arms up, exhale, hands back to your heart, step that right leg back. Warrior One on this side, so turn those back toes slightly out, hip forward, sinking down, and just find your footing. Check out the heel. Is it in a nice straight line? And maybe it's a little bit off, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, but generally speaking, nice straight line. Square the hips. Find your breath. Draw the ribs in. Nice strong back leg. And if you want more, lift the arms. Gaze forward, or if you want to take it a little bit more, we're gonna gaze up and bring the hands together, squeezing those elbows, hold it here. Take a giant inhale, pick up the back heel, frame the foot, step back, chaturanga, knees or toes. Remember, in chaturanga, we come forward on the toes, so the shoulders go past the wrists. Exhale, lower, all the way down, either baby cobra or your full up dog. Rolling over the toes. Take your downward dog, shake it out if you need to. Check out your alignment. Go from plank, downward dog, pedal it out. And you just want to really kind of feel your body right now. Pedal out. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about even doing it right. Okay? Just moving from side to side. I want you to just kind of ask your body, you know, what do you want today? What do you need today? And then just get quiet and listen. My body today is telling me that my right side, I can feel it right here through my back, probably my QL. It's really tight. So as I move, I'm going to be mindful of that. Then go ahead and walk the feet in. Keep the knees soft. Separate your feet about 6 inches or so that they're right underneath the hips. Knees are soft. Go ahead and grab the biceps and then just hang. Breathe with sound. If you want, shake out the neck and the shoulders, the jaw area. And then release the hands to the ground. Slowly, one vertebrae at a time, roll up. Last thing to come up is the top of the head. Great. Take a moment, catch your breath, move into a little bit of balance work. So we're gonna shift the weight onto the left leg. You're gonna take that right leg. I'll show you from the front here. And I usually don't let my students put their toe on the ground, okay? So what I suggest, if you feel like you have really terrible balance, is to just come over to the wall and hold on here. But I want you to place your foot on the calf, okay? And if you are near the wall and you're using it for balance, just try to continually take the hand off and find balance, okay? So we're gonna come here, and if you've got pants on and these are real loose pants, it can be even harder. Okay, so I blame the pants, not you. All right, so find your balance. Bring the hands to your heart. If you feel like you have the flexibility, bring that foot all the way up to the inner thigh. So we wanna press the thigh into the heel and the heel into the thigh. Avoid pressing on the knee, hold it here. And just focus your breath. So I want you to gaze at one focal point. So either somewhere on the floor in front of you or the wall in front of you. Remember, keep breathing with sound. Keep placing your tongue to the roof of your mouth, making that ocean sound with your breath. If you want a little bit more, you can lift the arms. But if that throws your balance off, just go ahead and keep your hands at your heart. Slowly release. Shift the weight over into the right leg. Pick up the left foot. Either hold on to the wall, try to avoid this. I know a lot of people will teach this, but this doesn't really teach you how to balance. So we want to try to challenge ourselves a little bit, and even if you keep falling out of it, it's okay. Eventually it gets easier. So find either the calf or the thigh. And believe it or not, you guys, balance is not my strong suit. I can balance better on my hands than I can on my feet sometimes. So just find your breath. Nice, strong standing leg. Tuning in. So listen to your body. What's going on, the internal dialogue. And if you want a little bit more, feel free to lift the arms. But if it throws your balance off, just keep the hands at your heart. Last breath. Slowly release. Good. Shake it out. Roll those ankles. Come back to that forward fold. So separate your feet 6 inches, so underneath the hips. Lift the chest. Bend the knees as soon as you feel like your hamstrings are really tight. Flatten out the back. And then just hang like a rag doll. You can shift forward into your toes, back into your heels, forward to your toes, back into your heels. And then I want you to slowly walk your feet together. Toe mounts together, heels slightly separated, knees together. Squeeze your inner thighs together, and we're going to slowly find an invisible chair behind us. So imagine the chair Sit down into the chair, lift the chest, take the tailbone and kind of tuck it under. So we're sending the sit bones down towards the heels. Sitting bones are the hip bones, all right, or the butt bones. We're gonna bring it down towards the heels. Draw in the ribs. Hands can stay here on the waist, or feel free, lift the hands. If you have the shoulder flexibility, palms together, eye gaze at the thumbs, hold it and breathe. One more. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, shake it out. Go ahead and walk your hands to the top of your mat. Step back into your plank. Find downward dog. Bend the knees left, right. Kind of move a little bit. Shake it out, whatever you gotta do. Then we're gonna step that right leg between the hands. So if you need to, grab that foot, bring it up, drop to the back knee. Find this nice low lunge. Lifting the chest up. All right, so let's see how you feel here. Just take a moment and settle in. Try not to let the hips kind of open to the side, but rather think about drawing this thigh bone back into the body and then pressing down through this back hip forward. Again, check it out, hips are square. Square to the front. So we can just stay here for a moment. And then I want you to just kind of move through a little bit of hip and hamstring lengthening. So, you know, do this as you're comfortable, okay? Remember, in a yoga practice, we don't want to feel sharp pain. We don't want to feel pain in our joints. We want to just feel it in our muscles. Okay, yoga is a mindfulness practice, and our goal here is just kind of to tune inward and hear what the body is telling us, what the spirit is telling us. Try to connect on a deeper level than just the physical body. All right, so hold here. And if you want a little bit more, feel free to tuck the back toe. If not, just stay where you are. Good. Now frame the foot with those hands. Push back, downward dog, pedal it out. Let's do the other side. Left leg, step in, low lunge. Drop to the knee. Give yourself time to adjust into this posture. So my right hip, the front of my hip, right now I can feel is super tight, which is probably what's pulling on my low back there. So I'm just kind of tuning in and listening to the body and hearing what it has to say. I know it sounds a little crazy sometimes when teachers say that, but after many years of practice, I finally, understand what it means to tune inward and listen to the body. And so that's my goal here today, is just kind of teach you. So you can close your eyes and kind of just listen. Maybe it's just saying ouch, or maybe you've got all of the dialogue in your head about, oh, I hate this, or when is it over? Or maybe you're like, wow, I really like this. This is feeling good. So whatever it is, just kind of tuning in. All right, and come back. The knee can stay bent if those hamstrings are tight. We're just gonna move through a little dynamic stretching here by adding this movement. And that will really help our body loosen up. Our body does not really like static stretching. I mean, some people like static stretching, but generally speaking, muscles don't like to stretch. Okay, they want to move. They want to move the leg, move the arm, move the hip. That's what their function is. So they don't really enjoy being stretched out, all right? So I like to move a little bit. And then come back and settle back into the posture. If you want more, you can come up here, tuck the toe. You'll feel a little bit more strength through the hip. And then framing that foot, pushing back to your downward dog. Shake it out. Go ahead and glide forward to plank, drop down to the knees. Let's find a dolphin plank. So I want your elbows underneath your shoulders, clasp the hands, push the ground away, tuck the tailbone under. So think about a pencil underneath your belly button and you were tucking your belly in so that you didn't get poked by the sharp pencil, or maybe somebody kind of hitting you in the gut, the motion of sucking in the belly. And then press the ground away. So protract through the shoulders. So what that means is make your upper back nice and rounded dome shape, okay? So this is an exaggerated plank. A lot of times people are here in plank. This will just give you more shoulder strength and a little bit more core work in your planks. So you can stay here on the knees. If you want to, you can tuck the toes and come on up and hold it here. But if it's too intense, just bring the knees down, no problem. Nice breath. One more. And then let's separate the knees nice and wide, big toes connected, forehead down, find a child's pose. Again, listening to the body, asking it questions. How are you feeling? What's going on? Sending the breath down to that area in the body that you feel the tightness. And then we're gonna move on to our back. So I like to teach people to come into downward dog and then drag one foot, then the other foot, and then slowly walk it in, sit down. So this is a modified jump through and lay on back. Hold on to the back of the legs, draw the belly in, and slowly come on down, knees into chest. Go ahead and grab the knees, give yourself a nice hug, pull them in, or we can come here, clasping, or even here with the elbows hugging the knees, whatever feels the best to you. Just relax the feet. Take one more nice deep breath. Good. And then go ahead and hold on to the back of the legs. Place your toes down, and maybe you want to start with the heels, but see if we can come to the toes. All right, and then lift the chest off the ground and reach the arms here right by your sides. Hold it, breathe. You should feel activation in the core. Remember not to pull at the neck, right? We're just using the core to lift the upper body. Hold it here. If you want to make this harder, go ahead and bring the legs up and hold here, or even here. This is super hard though, so maybe we just keep the knees bent. But if you have the core strength, just because you're a beginner in yoga doesn't mean you don't have the core strength. So if you can, hold it here, otherwise here, or toes down, hold it. And release. Knees into the chest. One thing that people always think about beginners is that they have no strength, they're not flexible. That's not always the case. Maybe you just have never practiced yoga, but you have done other sports, okay? So I try and give you guys options to challenge yourselves, not assuming that you guys don't have the strength or the flexibility, okay? All right. Gently bring that left foot down, take that right foot and cross it over the knee. Then you're gonna take that right hand between the legs. Reach around, see if you can grab the shin. If the shin is too difficult, you can just grab right behind the thigh. And then as you do this, I want you to flex that right foot, send the right knee away. Let the left leg just be loose. Pull it in. Now, release your hands, all right? And just use the strength of your hip flexors to pull that leg in. So we're gonna do some core work here as we open up through the back of that right hip. So we're gonna push the knee away with the right leg. Bring the left knee in. Draw the ribs in and down. So we're strengthening the left hip flexor, stretching out through the right, and also working the core here. So pulling the knee in, using your muscles, pull it in. Nice deep breath in and out, and then release it. Go ahead and switch. So we're gonna cross that left foot over the right knee, reach through the center, take a little stretch here so you can push the knee away, flexing through that left foot. And just breathing with sound. And let's go ahead and add a little dynamic stretching to this. So release the hands. See if you can take the knee and pull it in. Use your core as we press this knee away. So left knee pushing away, right knee pulling in towards the body. Draw your ribs down, pull it in. Breathe, breathe, breathe with sound. And release it. Good job. Again, nice little hug here. Pavanuttasana. This is one of my favorite stretches. Go ahead and drop the knees over to the right side of your body. Pin the left shoulder down. You can take your right hand and just rest it here on the leg. And then gaze down through that left palm or elbow. And I want you to think about drawing in your belly, so lifting your belly in and up. And then your pelvic floor, which is the muscles that, like if you're going to the bathroom, you want to stop the stream, those muscles. So you squeeze up like a Kegel exercise, but not too hard, just a little half Kegel. All right, that's your pelvic floor, Mula Bandha. So we want to lift up through the pelvic floor and then draw the belly in and up. And this creates more space in our pelvis. Good, let's do the other side. So it's kind of hard to explain sometimes, but over, again, many years of practice, it becomes a lot easier. So don't worry if you don't understand. Drop the knees over to the left side. Pin the right shoulder down. Gaze down through that right palm. And then draw your belly in and up. And then the pelvic floor, we're gonna do a little half Kegel, squeeze in and up. And just notice the feeling. Hey, how does it make you feel? Maybe you're, clueless and you don't know what I mean. It's okay, all of it is okay. We're not, trying to do anything here other than just be mindful. So if you're even thinking about it, of how to do it, and if you're doing it right, you're being mindful, okay? So give yourself credit. Take one more breath, and then let's release back. Knees into chest, big hug. And now I want you to cross the ankles, use a little bit of momentum, roll yourself up. See if you can place the hands in front of you, step back, find your downward dog. Again, you can check out your downward dog by coming to your plank, and then pushing back. Bend the knees left and right. And slowly start to walk it in. And hang nice and heavy. Shaking out the head, neck, shoulders, jaw. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, roll it up. Shoulders down and dropped. All right, so I have these Lifeform mats, which have a nice line down the center, okay? If you don't have a Lifeform mat, just imagine that there's a line down the center. Take your right foot, bring it forward, and then take your left foot and place both heels on the line, on the invisible line of the line, okay? Back foot, your left foot is slightly turned out, just like we did before. Right leg, toes are forward. Hips are forward towards the front of your mat. Now lift up through your quadriceps, so squeeze your quadriceps, so that's gonna protect the knee. Straighten the knee, lift the chest. And we're gonna inhale, exhale, and see if you can grab onto the elbows, all right? Inhale, exhale. Again, squeezing through the quadricep, press into the base of your big right toe. Inhale. Exhale. And then just slowly, your back is nice and straight right now, without moving your hips forward or back. We're not shifting them. We're gonna keep them square to the front. You're gonna keep coming forward, pressing your big toe into the ground, really activating through that right quadricep. And I want you to go as far as you can until you feel it in your right hamstring. And we're not rounding the back, and I want you to take the wrinkles out of your neck. So back here. We don't want the head lifted, we don't want it tucked, we just want a nice neutral neck. And then keep coming as far as you can. Take one more breath here. And then slowly press into the ground with that big right toe, or the toe mound rather. Come on up. And then switch. So we're gonna switch feet now. So again, lining up our heels about 3.5 feet from heel to heel, back toes just slightly turned out. Both hips forward, okay? So feel your hip bones to see if they're facing forward. Lift the chest, press into the toe mound there. Squeeze up through the quadricep. See if you can bind the arms. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And you don't want to go too wide on this one, guys. So look down and check it out. Are you about 3.5 feet or so from heel to heel? Take your time. Set up your alignment. Both hips are forward, hip bones facing forward. Inhale. Exhale. And then just press into the toe mound. Slowly. See, I noticed there my hip wanted to open, so I'm going to close it and keep going. So even after many years of practice, okay, I still have to correct my form when I go into some of these postures. This is my tighter side. If you notice, this is about as far as I can go with this leg. You don't want to feel this in your joints. You want to feel it in your hamstring, right in the middle of your thigh. And then slowly come on up. We're going to turn now. Feet are wider than hip width, okay? So you can step out even wider. If you have issues with sciatica, you can kind of turn your toes in a little bit. That may help. But we're just going to do a real simple wide forward fold here, okay? So hands on the hips, lift the chest, squeeze through the quadriceps, so lift up through those kneecaps, and then slowly tip forward. And if you need to bend the knees, go ahead. Then find the ground, and we're going to flatten the back. So for me, I've had a hamstring injury on that right side for a long time, like 4 years. So when I first go into this posture, right there is where I feel it, because that's where I had a tear. So when I start to feel it there, the attachment, I'll bend the knees a little bit, and then I can come into it with straight legs when there's no pain. So you don't want to feel it in any of your attachments, in the glutes, in the knees, anywhere, okay? If you do, just bend your knees. We want to feel the stretch right here through the back of the legs and through the inner thighs, okay? Now, wherever you're at, see if you can press the chest towards the ground, okay? Nice flat back. Relax the head. And if you feel comfortable, you can grab the biceps and hang. If not, just leave the hands here, okay? Again, squeezing those quadriceps up. So squeeze your quadriceps, press into the base of your big toes. This is what's going to protect your joints, is to have active muscles. We don't want to have muscles that are inactive, because then we're stretching into ligaments and it can do damage to our joints. So we really want activation, pressing through the base of the big toes, squeezing up through the quadriceps as much as possible. Now, lift the chest, and we're gonna shift. So you might need to open up those legs a little bit. Shift over to the right side and see if you can come on down to the ground. Now, this requires a lot of hip flexibility. So if you're not there, totally fine. You can just straighten out the leg and come here, okay? If you can, though, and you can bring it up as close to the body as possible, I want you to do that. Now I want you to reach with that left arm, take that right arm, and reach up and over, gazing up under the armpit. And then release it. Now we're gonna turn towards the nice long leg, keep that leg in, and lift the chest. So we're gonna pull this foot in as much as possible. Lift the chest here. And just hold here for a moment. Leg is nice and straight, toes are pointed straight up. All right, and then I want you to take this leg and bring it out. See if you can place that foot all the way up as close to your groin as possible. It might be here, that's okay. I want you to pull it up as much as possible. And if it hurts to bring the knee down, you can place a pillow or a yoga block underneath the knee. That might help you as well. So I want you to lift the chest, head to knee pose. We're gonna slowly, with a straight back, just come forward. And I like to pull the toes back here to create a little bit more of a stretch through the back of the calves there. Okay, so kind of extend those toes back and flex the ankle. Take a nice inhale. Exhale and see if you can just fold forward as much as you can. Good, now we're gonna go to the other side. So we're gonna kind of find our way back the way we came, all right? So come on up, bring this foot up. You're here, okay? Now, we're gonna turn the foot out. Come on up and see if we can straighten out through that right leg and sit back. Again, you can straighten out that leg here, all right? And lifting the chest, reaching that right arm down, left arm, gazing up under the armpit. One more breath. And release. Let's go ahead and turn towards the long leg and hold it here. Again, your foot might not be as close to your body as mine is. You might be here. Okay, and this is just hip flexibility. So just see where you're at. See if you can get it all the way up. And just pause for a moment. Make sure your hip bones are on the ground. And let's take the leg out. Bring it to head to knee pose. We're gonna pull it all the way up to our groin as much as we can. Lift the chest, and then slowly just come forward. I always love it when I get to this leg on hamstring stuff because it doesn't really bother me as much as the other side. I always feel like, oh, I love yoga. But on the other side, I'm like, so you might have that too. Well, just be mindful of it, right? So we're just listening. We're not trying to judge ourselves or change anything. We're just becoming aware, okay? Great. And then let's make our way back. So we're gonna bring it up here. Turn the foot out. Push ourselves up. And this is giving you some wonderful hip flexibility. So I like to just kind of shift a little bit side to side. And then don't worry about what it looks like, you guys. Just shift from side to side. Move your pelvis from anterior tailbone lifting to posterior tailbone tucking. You can round here. Just move around. See what your body is telling you. No rules. And then let's slowly start to walk it in. Feel free to keep the knees soft. Then hang the head. And let's roll up one vertebrae at a time. Step to the top of your mat. We're gonna do one round of Surya Namaskar A, which we did in the beginning, sun salutation. When in doubt, sun salutation. So if you don't, really know how to practice yoga and you don't know where to start, you can start with Surya Namaskar A. We're gonna bring our toe mounts together, leave the heels just slightly separated. Draw up your thigh bones, so squeeze the quadriceps, lift the chest, neutral pelvis. Settle the breath, palms forward, mountain pose. Then as we inhale, we'll lift the arms up. Inhaling, palms touch, eye gaze, drishti at the thumbs. Exhale, soften the knees, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, knees can be soft and hands can be here. And then as we exhale, we take chaturanga. So we can step back, drop down to the knees or stay on the toes. Elbows hugging in, lower down. And go right into our up dog or the baby cobra where we just lift the chest. Roll the shoulders, gaze forward. Again, don't let the knees or the heels roll out rather, but keep the heels lifted up towards the sky, gaze upward. And then see if you can use your core, pull it in on the top of those toes and flip, flip. We're here in downward dog. Bend the knees left and right. Shake it out, check out your dog. Arch my shoulders right over my wrists when I go from my downward dog. Nice deep breath here. And I like to pedal it out. See how I'm feeling. And then gaze forward. Inhale, exhale, step one foot, then the other. Flatten the back, soften the knees. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna finish up here with one last posture called Matsyasana. So we're gonna exhale, come into a nice forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, moving back through that vinyasa. Step back, chaturanga, exhale, knees or toes lower down, elbows hug the body. Either baby cobra here or full up dog. Roll over toes, exhale, down dog, and then let's drag, walk it in, and come on back to the elbows. So on the elbows, I want you to really lift the chest here. We scoot down a little bit so I stay in the frame. Straighten out the legs. This is a modified version of Matsyasana or fish pose. Straighten out the legs. I like to demi point on this one, but you can point, you can even flex on this one. I just prefer demi pointing for my body, but do what works for your body, okay? Then lift the chest, squeeze your quadriceps, and let the head fall back. Now you want to feel your trapezius muscle nice and lifted so that your neck has support. So lift up your trapezius muscle and feel that support on the back of your neck. Lift your heart, hold it here. Nice deep breath in and out. Lifting your heart straight up towards the sky. One more. And then slowly lift the head. We'll go ahead and lay on back. Hold on to the back of the legs. And come on down to the ground. If your back is bothering you, feel free to bend the knees. Place the hands on your belly. If you prefer, you can bring the soles of your feet together and come into Baddha Konasana, or opening up the hips. Or we can just straighten out the legs. We let the feet fall open. We can windshield wiper, let the feet fall open. But let's keep the hands on the belly. Nice deep breath in and out. Now, I want you to turn off your controlled breathing. Just breathe like you normally do. Start to pay attention to your surroundings, not trying to control it or change it or be bothered by it, but just accepting exactly where you are at this moment. Noticing that your belly is rising and falling with your breath. Inhale, gratitude. Exhale, thankfulness. Inhale, gratitude. Exhale, thankfulness. Thanking your body for the practice that you just did, the ability to move. And breathing in that space of mindfulness intention. So what is it that you want out of your life? What is it that you need? And just placing that intention out there. Meditating on your dreams, your hopes, your future. Inhale, gratitude. Exhale, thankfulness. Then begin to wiggle toes and fingers. slowly bend the knees if they're not already and bring them into your chest. Nice hug here. And then cross your ankles. Take a breath. Roll yourself up to seated. Sit up nice and tall. Wow, you guys, that was a really awesome practice. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you guys continue. I have other beginner classes here on the app, and please remember to rate this class and leave me a comment and let me know if you liked it and if you want more of them. You have an awesome day.